Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Price of Fame. This is season finale. Yeah! Bam, 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 bam. I never understand what I'm saying, but who cares? It's season finale, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking. Thank you for sticking around for all of the episodes who've ever been here since day one up until episode 38. Okay, so, and those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome, and also goodbye for the very last time. The Price of Fame is a podcast that focuses on the real stories about the journey to success, from the moment of the gift for one's gift or purpose. And in these conversations, we aim to share the light on the hardships, the sacrifices, and the mindsets our guests have to overcome to achieve the current position in their career. And these are their stories. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest started out as a corporate and theater stage manager way back in 2004 up until 2008, when he decided to flip the script and go from behind the scenes to on the screen. And for his actually most famous role, and most of us know him as Quinton Nyathi on ETV Scandal. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the screen the very handsome, the very talented Mr. Brighton Ngoma.
Thank you very much. What a dope intro. What a dope intro. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, man.
What's up, bro? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, man. Thank you for agreeing to be a guest on the Price of Fame season finale, the last episode. What a way to end it off with a bang. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I thought I was nervous, but I'm now realizing it might be a fear of what I have to say. Ooh. No, I'm good. I'm excited. I'm good.
Yeah. We're going to dig in what's behind the wall.
behind the face, behind the mask, as they say. Yeah.
I've got my tea for that, for the love for that part.
Oh, me too. Mm-hmm,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's apple juice, right?
Very strong apple juice. But yes.
Yeah. It's probably like a 3-year-old apple juice or something, or 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Maybe a 12-year-old. You never know. Listen, man. I love the way that we're starting off on such a light energy, man. Please, because this year has been kind of crazy and also kind of like crazy and also opportunistic, in the same way. Because last year gave us kind of like an idea of how to deal with this year. So a lot of us moved to virtual and moved to so many things and also made some adjustments. But for you, my man, we're in the last month, December. We're wrapping it all up. Can you please tell me, how was your 2021 experience? How has the year been treating you so far?
First of all, I can't believe it's almost 2022. I can't, because it feels like it's been 3 long years of the same year, right? I feel like all the hardships and all the sort of rubbish started about 2 or 3 years ago, and we've been stuck. It's been Groundhog Day for, I think, a lot of us. To answer your question, damn, that's a different because ups and downs.
Definitely.
I lost family members. I lost friends. I lost a pet this year. I didn't lose, but my time at one production came to an end. I had to deal with the death of that, in many ways, metaphorically, like the actual death of a character, and then dealing with it as an actor. There was that. There was financial difficulties, and then obviously one or two highs. Being on your podcast is one of them. Thanks. And opportunities in the acting space that I got this year were absolutely fantastic. So up and down, to answer your question, very much up and down. I think it was character building this year, 100% character building.
Yeah. Listen, just quickly, the whole death of an actor thing, like you brought that up now, I mean, when you diner in the scene or that kind of thing. I was in Dominion season 2, right? You won't even recognize me.
Yeah.
Those people who was possessed or whatever. I was never ever recognized. I was always in the background because I got like a featured extra thing. The one time that they chose to feature me is the day that they're gonna kill me. I was like, no! The one time that they bring me in front of the just to kill me. So I was like,
Your
no!
15 minutes. 15 minutes is 15 minutes, no matter how it comes. No matter how it comes. You know what I mean?
Crappy, you know. So I can't really proper relate to, I mean, being a household character, being one of the mains for such a long time, and then the character dies, you know. Like does it affect you, like, also like personally? Because like, I mean, you've grown a relationship with this character now. When people see you in public, they see this character, you know, and they always want to make references to the show, that kind of thing. So like, did it like affect you like on a personal level?
Look, to be honest, it kind of was the time for me to move on anyway. You know what I mean? I've been on the show for 12 years. I started off as a featured extra. No, actually, just a regular extra. I mean, background artist. Sorry.
Yeah.
PC.
Hey.
Hey, listen.
Hey.
And then I was featured, and I was given a character name. And then the more I got to know people in production, the writers and the directors, and some of the crew, the more they got to understand what sort of personality I was, as well as my background. And they found it quite fascinating. And so that's why the story of Quinton is largely or loosely based on my own story. So for that to come to an end, I think for anyone, it doesn't matter, you know, whether you're in Hollywood or whatever, but or you know, not to say we're not Hollywood, of course we are. It's difficult because it's part of you. I helped create that character. I grew as an actor within that character. I became a household name, as you said, with the character. I was exposed to so many things, both good and bad in the industry, to friends that I still have today. You know what I mean? So it was. It's still kind of surreal, if I'm honest. Every now and again, I have a moment of like, damn, has it really come to an end? Also, has it been that long? Also, has it been that long? Damn. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a difficult. It was bittersweet. It was a bittersweet moment. Yeah.
Fully understand. Yeah, like you just explained the whole perspective. Yeah. I mean, like you literally, like you said, you developed and you built that character. There was no line or character for that person on Scandal if you didn't appear and show what you've got, you know. So that's actually awesome, man. And I that because you killed it in your job. I have a silly question though. I have a silly question because they made me ask you this. They made me want to ask you, but I just need to get it out. Are you in any way, this is a silly one, please forgive me for this. Are you in any way related to Trevor Noah? Or do people usually say like, hey, you remind me of
No, you didn't.
I had to.
No.
I had to throw not from me. It's not from me. I'm not that ignorant, but I had to throw that because people are super excited and they wanted to know this.
No, Trevor and I have a bizarrely similar kind of upbringing and background. His mom is Xhosa, my mom was Xhosa, his dad is Swiss, my dad is Swiss. He grew up sort of in and around Berea, Hillbrow, Yeovil, and Soweto, same as me. We kind of, at some point, before he got really rich and famous, the actual, when they say fame and fortune, when he actually started living that, that's when I think the faces started changing, and you know, the doors, the different doors that open when you know what I mean. So yeah, so that's as far as the similarity goes, or the relation to Trevor Noah.
Yeah. Do you actually get this from people? Like, people, do you ever get this from people like texting you and asking you the silly questions about your relation or saying that you look like him?
Dude, I can rattle off a list. It's Trevor Noah, aka Twins on Decks, and Waras. DJ Waras. I was like, what? Wait, guys. I can understand the Twins on Decks because people see it double and they're like, oh, and then I appear and they're like, okay, well, if you shake your head enough, maybe he looks like one of the twins. I can understand. I can accept that. But the rest, I don't know about Keenan and Waras. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Dude, I also get like likes especially like on stage. Now I've heard the few times where they say I look like Chris Rock, but I do not agree with that. Maybe because of how I make my eyes when I'm on stage, or how I express my eyes. Maybe. And then
maybe that
person that I actually like, what? I think I do look like that guy. Jamon Hanso, the dude, the actor Jamon. With my hair bald and everything like that. I was like, okay, maybe, I look like, but like that guy. Otherwise, if the other guy, please do not confuse me. I'm Lunga Tshuka. But with your acting, I mean, acting and all of that stuff, and just you coming into the industry, because like I said in your bio, it says that you first started off as a stage manager, so you were obviously clued up with the industry and the arts way before you started acting on Scandal. So can you please describe to us how it all started for you? How, like who influenced you? When did the bug bite you? How old are you? Where were you?
I was so my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. She was on Rhythm City, and I was doing stage management. I was doing road shows and stuff, and that's actually where her and I met. Was on a production of High School Musical way back. And we hit it off and whatever. And then the opportunity came for me to literally the casting director, who's a family member. No nepotism here, but anyway, she said to me, "Do you want like just a little bit of extra cash for? Let's call it petrol money." And I was like, "Hell yes!" And then that's how that journey started. And then it kind of became a bit too monotonous and not sort of challenging enough for me, having come from where you're stage managing, you're kind of responsible for things, and you're responsible for actors and this and that and this and that, and everything has to be perfect and whatever. I felt like it was a bit boring, if I'm honest. And she said to me, my now wife said to me, I think you should do it. I think you should try it. I think it's something you might enjoy. Go into it, and so I blame her.
Yeah. Awesome, man. How old are you around about that time?
24.
Okay.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before all of that, what were your interests? Or were
it helped. I come from a family, sort of a foster adoptive family scenario where they are all theatre people. All of them are theatre people. So I grew up in theatre. I hated the idea of being on stage and exposing yourself. You would willingly humiliate yourself in front of a bunch of people for 2 hours, for 2 solid hours. Like, I didn't understand that. That was, but then I had issues growing up, so I just wanted to hide from the world and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But the more time passed, the more I kind of understood what it was about and what I needed to work on, and obviously friends and family helped and influenced a bit of that.
Yeah. Look, I can somewhat relate to that, because I first started out as a dancer back in 2003, and then from in 2007, that's when I started emceeing. I got my first MC gig, and then I started like adding that to my experience with entertaining people and stage and all of that stuff. And then it was from there, people used to tell me, "Man, you tell stories so funny, and you're so funny on stage, like you're a comedian." And there's so many like people like pushed me to go into comedy. I was like, and that was a fear that I had, because I was like, it's easy to dance because you're with a crew and whatever, and it's easy to host because you have a program. But to tell comedy for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I'm just putting myself out there, and I thought I'm just gonna humiliate myself, And I had that fear for 3 months. I had the fear for like 3 months. I wrote it down. I wrote down my jokes. I didn't go to the stage for that exact reason, because I was like, I'm gonna humiliate myself. And because I've just gotten so comfortable with emceeing, I just gotten comfortable with dancing. Now I'm gonna be like completely naked. I can't hide behind anything. So I'm like, nah. It was a huge fear. So I can kind of but relate to that, and it can actually set you back for quite some time.
That's exactly what it is. It's the idea of being naked, and showing either yourself, which with you If you're telling stories, I know with comedy, it's a lot of your personal experiences with a bit of a funny twist, or you see the funny side of a messed up situation in your life, or whatever.
Yeah.
At least let me speak for myself. Like my sense of humor is very dark, but the idea of getting up there with a mic and like all these people staring at you, just expectantly waiting. I cannot.
Yeah. Dude, like
Yeah.
I with you, the only reason why I actually stepped up is because I had another friend who was in the same boat. If we
Yeah.
didn't speak about this and whatever, and we didn't go to the same gig, I would have probably gone from 3 months to a year. I'm not, to be honest with you, I was that afraid of being naked and just putting myself out there. I really
Yeah.
felt like I'm stepping into something I have no idea of. I have no friends or comedians, and I have no like experience. So it was like, so yeah, I can
Yeah.
get that. Listen, are there were any challenges that you've experienced, like in the beginning when you started with the industry? And I know you've mentioned like earlier on that the industry like showed you like some good sides and it showed you some bad sides as well. Have you experienced any of those challenges on your journey in the industry? Also, maybe in the household or in the community?
When you say challenges, do you mean acting wise or in terms of the industry?
Both. Anything that you
Both.
feel that may have challenged your character or your growth or your journey, anything that could have, that's why I say it could have been in the home, it could have been like in the
Yeah.
community or just in the industry in general.
Well, now we get into the dark web, right? um, I was very much a reclusive child. Kept to myself. I didn't like attention, right? So when this opportunity came along, I was okay with it in the beginning, it being that I had a line or two here and there of dialogue. Let it be cleared up. That's what I meant by a line.
Oh, yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. Ooh, let me just.
I know we said
So,
dark, but we're still going there. We're still going there. We're still turning it.
So the minute it changed from me being the sort of happy-go-lucky barman in the background, smiling at the characters and in a scene every now and again with one or two lines. When it switched from that to me getting a full character name and a biography and a thing and a thing and a thing, I started freaking out because I had sort of imposter syndrome of like, no, man, I can't. Aside from all the pressure of it's got to be right, it's got to be right, because you hear things, the crew, you spend years being sort of background, and you hear the things that the crew say and that the directors say about actors and about background artists, and you go, ooh, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be spoken about like that. So then you put pressure on yourself to be perfect, and then you're not perfect, and then you beat yourself up, going, it could have been better, but then you don't have the voice to go, can we do it again? Because you think, oh, this is an opportunity I was given. Let me not mess it up by being difficult, because sometimes it's difficult if actors want to do a scene again, or if they want to perfect a line, or this and that and this and that and this and that. So there was my own kind of unnecessary pressure, and then my ego just took me to a very, very weird place of like, I wanted help, I wanted to get better, but I wasn't ready for people saying you're bad, or you could be better, or perhaps you need lessons. I lost my mind, and then every year that passed since I was established, where it was SAFTA season or whatever awards season, and I was nominated for like what I thought was silly things, like best looking I was like, man, give that to so and so, because I genuinely thought like I was the Rich Forrester of soap, in SA, and I thought like, yo, how come no one recognizes the talent? So there was my ego, there was my sort of self destructiveness in not allowing myself to be helped along the journey. And then in the community, because I was already quite not shy, but I keep to myself. I'm a very private person. Because there was that element to my character. Now you're being recognized in public, and I hated every look that or people that recognized me, I misinterpreted as a challenge, or like I wasn't understanding that these people were just fans and they were appreciating what I'm doing. It was aggressive. I started, and then you drink to kind of drown that weirdness, and you drink more and you drink more, and then it's that's why I'm saying we've got into the dark web now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the challenge is the challenge is what it did. If I'm honest with myself, is it exposed a lot of things, a lot of character flaws for me. And then my girlfriend, my wife, then had to deal with it. Every time I came home, I was frustrated and I was distant. People don't understand me and no one understands me. And she was trying to, and if you get notes, especially from, a family, a close loved one, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
So it was just, actually, now that I'm reliving that by telling you all of this, what a mess. What an absolute mess. So yeah, then I turned to like a lot of partying, a lot of kind of drowning my my insecurities and my what I thought were inabilities, and then the character, the storyline itself would open up sort of scabs of, because like I said, the Quinton Nyathi background is very similar to my own. So yeah. My dad left when I was very young, when I was about 5. Went back to Switzerland, and my mom, she passed in like 2001. As this teenage kid with no parents. I know my parents now, they took me in, but they didn't know what to do with all this like angst, and I didn't talk, and so the storylines that I had to then do within a kind of a constant reminder of, you haven't dealt with this, you haven't let it go, you're still hanging on to it, a lot of resentment. Ooh. Yeah, I'm sweating just thinking about it. Yeah.
Because I mean, when these things happen, you're way too young to process all of that emotions and just to process what you're actually dealing with and all of that. And like you're saying, now you're in a role, you're having to play, and with actors, one thing I respect about them is that, they really get into the acting, they really get into the role, they really get into the emotions and all of that, And sometimes we have to dream of the situation and put ourselves and try and be like, okay, how would I act in this situation? But you, like you said, the role you had to play was very close to your real life, So it didn't take much of like, how do I do this? It's more of like, oh, snap, here we go again, know?
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. In the beginning, I thought it was quite convenient, to have a storyline that's very close to your own life story.
Yeah.
And then, but not realizing I should have gone to therapy. I actually recommended therapy to the production. I said to them, listen, maybe you should give actors like just a counselor just standing by of the heavy storylines and whatever. I don't know what. Well, obviously, I'd never got that, but I don't know what came of that. But I'm a very jokey person, so like I would say that in jest, but there was a truth to it, and there was a hurt to it, and there was a cry for help. But because I'm smiley and I'm a party animal when I drink with people, and that's how people sort of knew me. I would cover that stuff up, and people would forget that actually there's a little kid crying out for help.
Yeah.
So on some level, it was easier. It wasn't much acting, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It was kind of just conveying, or trying rather, to convey the storyline as best as I could. And then where it got emotional is when I would go off track. So yeah, I hated emotional scenes because of that.
Yeah. And I can, now you're saying all of this, I can understand why you say it will actually take a heavy knock with having to let go of the character, because it was literally, like you're saying, you were living your life as well, so it was literally a part of you. It was another version of you. If you could tell your story again, if I could put it that way, it's another version of you, So letting go of that is also letting go of something that you grew in, Yeah, because you said like it's something that you before this you didn't have anything, and this is what developed you as an actor and an artist, you know, becoming a household name and all of that stuff. So it's actually a huge, huge part of your journey, this the scandal thing, and we will never ever take it for granted after we've heard what your story about today, you know.
I hope
Commend
not, yeah.
you, bro. I commend you for speaking about these things because this is the reality, you know, and the more that we normalize it in conversation, people start to heal about, you know. So I'm sure there are people right now who are getting the healing of this thing and being like, wow, I've never knew this, or maybe they dealing with something similar, and we are just conversating so easily about it. So I really commend you, and I want to thank you for that, for highlighting that, you know, and sharing with us what you were actually dealing with and how it can actually have an effect on an actor. There's one other thing that you said, which was so important, which I also learned. And I was afraid to do for the very longest time, is what you said, like when you see the actors make a mistake, you know, and then they ask like, can I try that again? I thought that is forbidden. I thought, nope, you can't do such a thing. You come up to the set, you must be perfect, and all of these things, you know. So there, and the same job that I was doing the minute I'm watching, and then I'm like a background actor. What do you call them? A background actor?
A background artist, yes, yeah.
A background artist. So as a background artist, you know, and in the scene, we're in the room and it's very intimate. And then the lead guy says this thing and then he makes a mistake. And then he's like, ah, damn it. And then he just goes again. I'm thinking to myself, you can't do that. everyone was chill. The director, they speaking to him now. They asking him, are you sure you're okay? Do you want to do that again? And he's like, yeah, I'm not happy with that. Can we do that again? I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you must have been like, what? Yeah.
But you actually can. And I would have been exactly like you. I would have done something, and in my heart felt like maybe I could have done it better, whatever. I would have never said anything. If they didn't say, let's try it again, I would have just been quiet and be like, okay, that's the take, you know, and knowing that I can do better. So I'm glad that you brought that up as well. I don't feel like I'm a weirdo alone.
Look, no, you're not at all. Not yet at all. Look, there is genres are very different. Like soap is you can't really stop. You can't, and I get that, but you are absolutely allowed to go, can I take it again? You'll hear a few grumbles from the crew. That's inevitable. That's across the globe. I think crews are just grumpy, right? I used to be crew myself. I was great. But anyway, that's another life. You absolutely are allowed to, and I stopped. So you can watch playback after every scene, right? Certainly in my context in the studio, you can watch playback. So you kind of happy, and then they go, we're moving on. If you're not happy, and then you watch playback, and then you see something and you cringe and you go, no, let's just move on. Let's just move on. I don't want to bother people because the other crew, the standby crew, have already moved on to set up for the next scene, and now you're gonna go, no, guys, do you mind, please, sorry, please. It's a game. It's a game. It's definitely a game. And the more confident you are as an actor, the more they can't tell you no. And I think that's an important lesson. I saw you had Denver. You spoke to Denver Frago. Denver was my floor manager at some point. He was my floor manager at some point. And I hope he watches this. I want to say, Denver, I see you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you absolutely you within your every right as an actor to go, can we take it again? If it runs over time, that's a different story. But if you have enough time to do it again and the other actor doesn't mind, then it's cool. If you don't know your lines, you see there's layers to this thing. If you don't know your lines, forget it.
Oh.
Then you're not gonna live long in the industry. You must work in another town.
Yeah. Listen,
you know
wow. I mean? You saying that now because hey, I struggle with reading out loud and just reading in general, you know. If I read for too long, my mind, I'm reading, but I'm not taking in what I'm reading. I start to get drowsy and all of that stuff. So I love audiobooks. I take it in so easily. I can finish 3-hour audiobook today still, but if it was an actual book, it will take me 2 to 3 weeks to complete that book. So I indulge audios a lot easier because I can picture everything, and I know people like my partner, she gets annoyed with the audio because it sounds like a robot and whatever, and she likes reading. Yeah. Now, when it comes to lines, I've always cringe. But then I sabotage myself because I don't like it and I don't like learning it. I take so long to learn it that I procrastinate. And then when it comes to like, it's go time, and then I'm like staying up late at night, stressing myself, trying to learn the lines, whatever. And do you have any advice for people like me who do this kind of thing? To that can maybe learn lines a lot easier.
Firstly, it gets a lot easier the longer you do it. So that's my excuse for being able to learn lines so easily, right? It's not a gift. I wasn't born being able to read fast or have a photographic memory. It's a skill. You can train yourself to do that. Number one. Number two, I tried this recently, earlier this year. I recorded myself reading a monologue that I was supposed to do for a self-tape. And then I heard it back to myself. So what you're saying about the audiobooks is important. You don't necessarily, it works with monologues, not necessarily with dialogue, because dialogue you need the other person, whatever, or another voice at least. But record yourself and then listen to yourself.
Okay.
That's my advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. No, I definitely, because I really want to get into acting. I really want to push my luck. I would really love to build a character like you have done, and that kind of thing. Or just like I have this huge desire to be in superhero movies, Actually, yeah, hey, you want to be one of those superhero guys and everything like that's so crazy. I was about to ask you actually now, if you had the ideal movie or whatever screenplay, what would it be for you?
Oh, come on, that's not a fair question.
Would it be a movie? Or what? A movie? A comedy?
Look, I wanna end whatever career this is that I have, having done soap, film, drama, action, comedy, right? So all the maybe musical, which my wife mustn't hear me saying because she's a musical theater practitioner, right? And she'll never let me forget this. But so definitely action, comedy. I've done soap, obviously. I'm doing a drama, a film next year. I'm doing a drama thing. I did comedy. It was kind of dramedy earlier in the year, which was interesting on many levels. But comedy is so much harder. It's so much harder than drama. Drama, you take your time and you kind of you wallow in the emotion and the scene and stuff. You've got time to kind of to get to wherever you need to get to. Comedy is like boom, 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 boom. It's exhausting. So I can tick that one off.
Yeah. Look,
but definitely action and.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No. So action is the plan. I'm already doing. I'm going to do a drama thing. So action is definitely the next plan.
Cool, man. Listen, with comedy, like, okay, maybe because I'm a comedian and I've always believed that I was a funny guy. I found it. Okay, of course I'll find it easy because I believe I'm funny, no man. But I never thought that it would be because I mean the lines are written for you and everything like that. You just have to deliver it. But there's the one thing where people say that it's not easy is the comedic timing. And like you said, when you say I could only picture the comedic timing and all of that. So I think that's the difference, the only huge difference that can change the whole vibe, is the comedic timing.
No, 100%. 100%. I did a and I hope I'm not I hope I'm not shading anyone. But this production that I did earlier this year, hey man, not everyone has comic timing. You know what I mean? Not everyone has comic timing. That's all I'm gonna say. So I was like, okay, cool. But at least I'm not as bad as that person. So I'm good.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, like you said, early on, like, and I don't want to stay on too long on this, but like you said early on, that you were with some of your challenges that drove you to a bit of drinking and a lot of partying and all of that stuff, you know. So I'm sure you've experienced both sides of industry where it could be like dark and dirty, and it's also the amazing side of it. Can you share some of, because for a lot of us who have no idea what you guys go through behind closed doors, or what the parties are like, or the networking, you know, could you share maybe two dark experiences that you've experienced, you know, because of the industry, and some two amazing experiences that you'll be like, wow, I will take this to the grave with me.
Look, um, it all ultimately it's a choice. So I don't want to say because of the industry, this is what happened and that's what happened.
Yeah.
I made some really bad choices earlier on in my career, and I hung out with the wrong people who had already kind of been in the industry a little bit longer than me, and who were not, they weren't kind of invested in this young kid. You know, I was the young kid, I was the kid, to kind of help me grow. Uh, um, but I don't necessarily, I don't think it'd be wise for me to be specific about those things because it involves specific people
Yeah, yeah. No,
and
we
specific
will
things
take
and
yeah.
scenarios that I don't think people will appreciate. Um, but you know, I like I said earlier, I had a lot of insecurities and stuff, and I thought because I had this void, I was in rehab in matric. I was in rehab because of drugs. My mom having passed away, I went through an identity crisis. I was like, I don't have parents. Am I colored? Am I black? Am I half? What am I? All that sort of stuff, and that led to me joining a gang and making really bad decisions in this gang. And that's all I'm going to say on that. And 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 so the rehab process, it was bizarre. I think the timing couldn't have been better.
Mm,
Um, it helped me just deal with certainly with my mom and losing my mom and my sense of identity and you know and going like where am my family, who am I, who do I there's no one who looks like me. There's no one I can't say my dad. I still don't really kind of know what my dad looks like, if you know what I mean. Like I obviously know what my mom looked like. My brother and I'm a younger brother, and I don't really look the same. He had a different dad anyway.
yeah.
Um, so the rehab thing it helped getting me off the drugs, obviously,
Yes.
and booze and stuff. But it more importantly, it helped me kind of calm down and just and be with myself as much as it could for an 18-year-old. And you think you're mature. Like I stayed clean for 5 years, and I realized it wasn't necessarily, I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it for my family to prove to them that like I can be better.
Yeah.
And so it was more for them. And then the minute I was kind of back and cocky and confident and feeling myself and whatever, I just went straight back into the source.
Mm,
And so the industry with, if you take a layer of insecurity and you add fame and a little bit of fortune on top of that, and then no proper guidance from like a biological parent. I'm not saying my family didn't help me. They helped me as much as they could, in as much as what I allowed them to what I revealed to them, and sort of the help that I said I needed from them. So all those layers, and then being shown just one very controversial drug, and that just, you spiral, and I spiraled and I spiraled and I spiraled. And it was my wife who pulled me out of that about 5 years ago. if not slightly longer. Well, we have a child. We have a 5-year-old now. So it was about 5.5, maybe 6 years ago that I had to snap out of it. And I kind of did. I mean, there's still issues. There's still things that I need counseling. You need counseling constantly, I believe. There's nothing wrong with that. Just to talk. You can't talk to. I can't, dump all my stuff on my wife and my family and my friends all the time. She's an artist. She understands, and she's going through her own journey as well of the industry being what it is, and how and where you think you fit, and whether you fit or not, and things like auditioning and casting and this, and then you think, am I not good enough, and all those issues. If you don't have a supportive partner, you'll end up in the gutter.
That's absolutely true, and I firmly believe in that. And I also have a partner, and she knows. She's not necessarily in the industry as an artist, but she's in the industry because she's a brand developer, a personal brand developer. So she works on my brand as well, and other clients and other companies' brands as well. And she knows I've like hit rock bottom so many times, and because I think as artists, we emotional beings, we express a lot, so as much as we give a lot, you take in a lot as well, and you feel a lot as well, because you open now, because as much as you're open to giving, you're open to receiving as well. So some of these challenges hit us like extremely hard, and like sometimes we don't even know how to process these things. And what I've also learned because I used to work with a youth development agency and called Spades back in the day, and I worked with them for about 3 years, and I was on the program for like another 2 years, and we were working with kids. And what we basically would do is we would go into the schools, and then we would speak about the challenges that kids are facing, drug abuse, teenage pregnancy, peer pressure, identity crisis, and all of those things that we do not know how to process when we're younger. So then we look for, like you said, you look for a gang, because boys usually turn to gangsters because of the brotherhood, because they find identity, they find sense of belonging in there, We tend to do things, we even addiction sometimes becomes something because I wanted to fit in and not necessarily what I want to do to myself or what I want to do to myself. And it's the childhood trauma that we need to learn how to process, and we need to learn how to speak about now as adults. So that's why I appreciate that you're actually taking us on this journey, because it's a mind opener, and an eye opener to so many people who probably face these challenges, or even know of a son or brother or anyone who is going through something similar, And I think this helps them to just be there for them, to just, like you said, sometimes you just need to speak about it. You don't necessarily need someone to take your hand. You don't need someone to come sit next to you. You just need to share off the load, so that someone who understands and can give you that better perspective and be like, you know what, you may be looking at it a bit too like, overwhelmingly, maybe pipe it down a bit. Let's do something else,
I hate imposing any sort of values or philosophies or I hate imposing anything on anyone. But if there's anything anybody can take away from this is challenge yourself. I remember going to a counseling session one time, as recommended by a friend. I think I took myself, Zolly, and then I got there, and she was like, "So, what do you want to talk about?" And I was like, "What do you mean? You must ask me the things, and then I'll talk, and then eventually that's all she said. She said, "So, why are you here?" And I was like, and it just came up. It just all like a stream of emotion of this, and I haven't dealt with that, and this and that and this and that. And I was like, "Damn, you're good. So if anyone is kind of apprehensive about therapy or counseling or anything like that, or speaking to anyone, I promise you, it takes one question. It takes one question. If the counselor is good enough, it takes one question.
That's so true. Thank you for that.
And then you'll learn about yourself. You learn about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that too, man. You still own what is your most amazing moment that you've experienced in the industry? Something that you'll take with you to the grave? I don't know, maybe meeting someone iconic, or I don't know, just maybe it could have been even a scene that you've done and you're like, wow, I really killed it, you know? And I'm so proud of
I've
myself.
had, I've look, I've had a really cool, and I don't often appreciate this enough. If I look back at all the people that I've met, all the people that I grew up watching, I ended up working with them. You take that for
Yes.
granted. Like I said, my ego just took over at some point of like, yo, I'm the next Clint Brink. You know what I mean? I'm the next this and that and this and that. And you take all of that for granted. So if anything, man, the positive side is the people that I met in the industry, who are still friends. Man, much love. Like I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for them. I mean, everyone has an influence in your life, one way or another, you know. I don't want to say there's highlights, because then it suggests that the others weren't highlights.
Okay. I hear you.
But the one thing I can't wait to tell absolutely everyone is Steve Harvey is not as funny as what he as Kings of Comedy. He's not. I met him like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, what? Why are they paying you all this money, sir? But anyway, that's the one, like, a bit of salt, bit of shade.
Woo-wee. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Got my key for that, so. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sip slow. Mm.
I still want to meet him. So yeah, I'm going to say nothing on that one. And listen, you've mentioned like so many people that have helped you in the industry, and so can you please share some of the mentors that you probably had, that have showed you the ropes, especially with acting and just with your development as an actor? And have you played as a mentor to anyone?
Um, I don't. Well, to answer your last question first, I don't think of, any kind of advice that I give to people, or co-actors in the moment, or people that are up and coming and they ask me for advice. I don't think of it as like, all right, well, this is a teachable moment, young chap. So pay attention. Where's your notepad, sort of thing. I don't ever think of myself like that. But to whoever I did inspire or did motivate in any way, I'm glad I can do that. I'm glad I still can do that. In terms of my own mentors, my wife, definitely. I definitely 100% wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. My family, to some degree. Um, it's weird. It's weird having active family, because they're always going to be parents. They're always going to be parents. And I remember my mom, for lack of a better term, my mom was at Scandal for a while. She was doing a prison storyline, and every time I saw her at Scandal, I would become this like 17-year-old, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was bizarre, right? But yeah, so my wife, my family, my friends, um, and again, I'm being diplomatic by not mentioning specific actors, or
Yeah.
they know if they watch this, they had a hand in sort of getting me to this balanced. I can't believe I'm so balanced. I thought I was gonna wild out and be like, yo, this one did that, and this one said this, and then there was this chicken,
Yeah.
and there was this party, and no. But
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely they know who they are. Yeah.
Cool. Can you please share something with us interesting about yourself that we don't know? For example, that guitar in the background, or you some secretive um, do you secretly play the
you know,
guitar amazingly well, and you play at some underground clubs, and then you change your name and change and come with a disguise? Is there something interesting about you that you'd be like, if people actually knew this about me, they would actually think I'm quite a cool guy. It's not that we don't think that you're a cool guy at all.
so after a few of these, right? Um, I found myself sat in front of a piano, and then the guitar. actually, I got this, interestingly enough, I got this guitar from Ashwin Willemse. He just randomly gifted me a guitar. I met him like through my one production, and he just gave me a guitar. I was like, didn't ever indicate to you that I was trying to be a musician. So I've done piano, like I said, after a few wines or a few drinks. Guitar, I think, after a few drinks, Boys to Men, I think I should have been part of the group in real life, actually. You can ask my wife, and you can ask Clint Brick about that. Like, I just go and I'm passionate about what I'm doing, and it's just like no one can tell me that you can't do what you think you're doing. So I have a lot of fun in the moment, but no one else does. I'm really into cars. I'm obsessed with cars, and I didn't realize this until a few years ago, where I had an opportunity to kind of do a review, and I watched how people are doing reviews nowadays. Obviously, Top Gear and stuff was a massive influence. But that's if there's one thing, it's that I'm into cars more than anything else, more than absolutely anything else.
Wow. So like, if you weren't an actor, and pursuing acting that much, would you have been a car racer?
100%. If I could afford to, definitely. And I would have been into, a friend of mine tried to get me into the sort of mechanics side of it, and he wasn't a great teacher. So I wasn't very patient with him.
Yeah.
That side. But had I stuck it out with him, then my knowledge of motoring and cars and stuff, the engineering side of it, would have, I would have been, I mean, I am a little bit of a genius already, but I would have been.
Yeah. Let's just be honest.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I've had such a lovely time chatting with you on this, The Price of Fame. You've actually made the finale episode such an interesting one with lots of growth and lots of true and authentic stories, So I'm getting to the last of my interview, and I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everyone especially when it comes to the end of the interview. And the question is that if I were to put you into my time machine, right? And this time machine, I'm going to turn it back all the way to a very, very younger version of yourself. You can decide which version of the self you want to go to. But it's the Brighton of today, what you've learned, the journey you've walked, and all the stuff, all the knowledge and all the wisdom that you have. And you're going to a younger version of yourself. And I'm giving you 5 minutes of advice that you can give to the younger version of you. What would you say? Advice or anything?
Okay. I promised myself I wouldn't say this, but my advice to myself would be: don't be an actor. Don't be an actor, because the craft itself thrives, and there's different schools of thought on this. But the craft itself requires you to dig very deep, and the spirits and the body never forgets. You're tapping into very, very serious emotion and hectic and heavy, and then you come home and you have a family, and for you to debrief yourself is very hard. It's very hard. So if you must be an actor, you have to be, your mental health has to be in order, and it's not just that you're humble. I mean, obviously that goes without saying. A little bit of humility goes a long way, but you have to understand what you're getting into, because it's not just fame, it's not just fortune, and in fact, it's never fortune. Not in my experience, at least. You have to understand it's not just about being on TV and having followers on social media and looking great on TV and doing and meeting famous people and stuff. And there is that element. It is fun. It is glamorous. I mean, I won't lie. It is glamorous, but you have to be very, very sure about why you're getting into it. It's almost a bit of a calling. I went into it. And I think only maybe even this year or the last 2 years, I started understanding what it is that I'm doing, that I'm living. All the scenes that I've done in my life, I can never relive those moments again. Those are gone. Those are in cyberspace. They're wherever. So it is very much a part of your life. You do give your life up to it. So you have to kind of be balanced. You have to understand why you want to do it, and make sure that you have a support system. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with people around with people around you. Be confident about in your skill. I think this is perfect. Actually, this is brilliant. I'm actually saying this to my younger self. Hey, be confident. You believe in yourself. All right. Which is 100% what I would have needed to hear from an older brother. I think if I had a younger brother who was 16, 17, kind of, it's exactly what I would say. And it's okay to mess up. It's okay to ask for another take. It's okay to not be perfect. You know what I mean? Like people, it's so superficial. It's all very superficial. People go, it's about how you dress and how you look in public, what car you drive, where you're seen, if you've gained weight, if you bulked up, whatever, if you're looking like, I'm ready for December and summer body and all that stuff. I guess if you get paid for that, and then you need to understand your role in the production, because if you're a pretty boy and you're buff, but you have a squeaky voice, and you don't necessarily have a presence on screen, you have to be okay with the fact that you were hired because you're a pretty boy who's buff. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's a role. That's a role. And it's a character. Yeah. So I suppose in conclusion, I'd say it's all gonna be okay. I hope.
That is the power. That's the most powerful message that we need, especially when we confuse, especially when we're feeling down, especially when we're overwhelmed and all of that, and everything. We just need someone to tell us it's all going to be okay. That's a very powerful one, and I love the way that you ended that, And like you said, this is the reason why I actually do that question, because it gives people an opportunity to actually think back, and we're addressing the younger version of ourselves who didn't know how to deal with the trauma. And we're like giving them that, and we're hugging them, and we're telling them it's all okay now.
Yeah, man.
That's why I do this, because I wish more people would learn from that and do that as well, Like at home, if you're sitting there, think about yourself and think about your traumas and everything, Think about the time when you felt life was so unfair. And what would you say to yourself, you now being the guardian angel, And that message is perfect. Yeah. It's perfect.
You know what, dude, my son, who's turning 5 in January, he's an absolute mirror. He's an absolute mirror. Whatever emotion I'm going through, if I am irresponsible with the way that I deal with him, he mirrors it back. So I guess on some level I can be grateful that I'm aware of that, first of all, and secondly, that he's at an age where hopefully, he's quite a smart kid. Hopefully he doesn't remember some of the dumb things I've said in the last 4 or 5 years. So actively going, we've got to think positive. You've got to think positive. You've got to remember that there's a child who's just seeing absolutely, he's absorbing and recording absolutely everything that you're doing. So it makes you mindful of how you live, and how you speak, even, and how you speak about yourself and other people. So hey man, this is turning into quite a session. This is brilliant.
Thank you. I really thank you so much. I mean, because this is what I aim for in the Price of Fame, and you've taken us exactly where we need to go, and I love that. I love that. There's so much growth in this episode, and there's so much growth in chatting to you, you know. And we have never even met in person, you know, to be like this comfortable and all that stuff. You're just so open, and your energy is so amazing. Like I really cannot thank you enough for making this last episode a really, really good experience, you know. Yeah, I feel like I just want to hang out more. Like I want to hang out more with you. Hey, Joburg based or Cape Town based?
I'm in Joburg.
Oh, cool. Maybe I'm going to hang on to your number. I'm going to stalk you when I'm in Joburg, you know, we can hang out a bit, you know,
cool.
That kind of thing. Awesome.
100%.
Brighton, thank you so much, brother. You know, I'm saying it again. Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful. I've kept you for an hour, like I promised, and you've taken the journey exactly where it needed to go, and you feeded us with so much insight and so much power, you know. And you're actually such a strong person, you know, to sit here and like see how knowing what you've been through and still on screen, we just saw the powerful character, you know. So you've had that in you, you know. So we appreciate that. And we appreciate you being absolutely real and authentic with us. I've learned a lot. I've enjoyed myself. Did you enjoy today's episode?
100%. Thank you so much for the opportunity, man. It's been really, really great. It's been really powerful, man.
Before I let you go, is there any last thing that you want to say? Shout out to my fans or whatever. Anything that I didn't cover?
Shout out to Ding Ding. Shout out to no. No. I think this is brilliant. You know, so many times I've thought over the years, like I want to create something where you know, artists can just be honest and talk. Even like I wanted to create a roundtable thing. This is brilliant, man. I love that you're doing it. So thank you guys for reaching out.
Thank you, man. And please do it. We need more of these. We need more of these platforms.
We do.
We real people and we deal with real shit, man. So we need more of these platforms. And you could create another one, you know. I would be so happy because we're all speaking the same language at the end of the day, you know. And we just want to see people heal. We just want to see people be the best versions of themselves. And if it means that we should get them on a platform to speak about their challenges and speak about all of that, and it's going to make them feel better, then that's what we will do. So thank you so much, Brighton. Before I let you go, are there any social, please drop your social handles so that we can get involved with your journey, so we can see what's happening and just be clued up?
I'm not really active, but it's cool. I'm not stressed about socials and numbers. But if you guys do stuff, I'll repost definitely. So don't worry about that. Like I know it's all about numbers and like, oh, I've got numbers. I don't really care about that stuff. I really don't. Yeah.
I'm trying to adjust, but I know what you mean. I know what you feel with the whole number. I'm trying to adjust because that's where things are going. But I know that heavy, because I feel so old school when you come to this.
Dude, like yo. Social media should be once a week on a Sunday, like, you know what I mean? Like
imagine that. But I think that would be a lot of personal connection if it was scheduled for once. That's hilarious, actually. That is hilarious. Brighton, thank you so much, brother. It's been amazing. I've enjoyed myself, like I said, having you on there. You've made the finale episode one of the best episodes. I've had a lovely journey. And to wrap it up with you, it's lekker. It's December time. Woo! Thank you so much, bro. May you have the evening further. May you have a blessed December and all the best with your career in 2022 moving forward. And we will meet soon.
Likewise, my God.
Cool. All right. Cheers.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Cheers, man. Good night. See you.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Johannesburg. We were speaking to Brighton Ngoma. A lot of people are excited to see him as a guest tonight. And yes, like I said in the beginning, and like I've been saying, that this is the finale episode. Thank you to all the followers, all the support that you guys have shown from episode 1 up until episode 38. To be honest with you, I only planned 20 episodes when I wanted to do this. because I kind of like doubted myself and I was like, I don't know, will people like it? I don't know. But I've gained so much followers, new followers with new guests, and to see your constant support, it's overwhelming. So that's why I always say, like, thank you so much for all of these things that you guys are doing, the like, share, subscribes, all of that, because it really helps with the algorithms and it really validates that I'm doing something cool, you know. So, and it gets me excited. And I always get feedback like, oh, what you're doing is amazing. Keep doing it. So thank you for that feedback as well. We're wrapping it up tonight as we wrap up our experience of 2021 with the price of fame. Thank you so much for the journey again. I love each and every one of you. Those of you who are also watching there in the background, you know, those who don't like and share, but just watch there on your phone. You make like you're not paying attention, but you're all watching. I love you. I see you too. Thank you so much. My name is Lunga Tshuka. It's been an amazing journey, and this is the price of fame. I'm out.